We're thinning the herd. No, I think a few people said that they weren't going to be able to make it. It's just a really weird time for people with meetings, so I completely get it. As long as you watch the live stream at home. But, dude, it feels like weeks since I've seen everybody last. Today's is going to be different. My compromise for the difficulty will be that we aren't standing up at all today, so yay. Other than that, not too much is different. If you're at home, I promise you don't need the band, you don't need the weights. Everything can be done. The original workout is done without any of those, so these are just to add muscle resistance if you want to increase the intensity at all. The red band is a different type of band. We haven't used this one before in classes. It's just because I despise the circle bands, and sometimes they make me upset when they roll up, so I'll be showing different modifications and ways that we can use the red band instead of the circle band too, if they bother you as well. If you need any other modifications or anything's too difficult at any point, please let me know, and I promise I will be able to find a modification. If you're at home or you're watching the live stream and you can't ask for a modification, feel free to take your own or just take a break in the middle of it. I promise getting a drink, taking a break halfway through is completely normal. Even if you're stopping halfway through a set that we're doing, I promise it's fine. Nobody's going to get mad at you. Nobody's going to judge you because we're all enjoying our workout today. Other than that, if you have a watch, go ahead and get it started. We're going to start on the ground. I know, we're changing things up. And we're going to go all the way down to our back. Go ahead and just hug your knees and take rock side to side, waking up the central nervous system. Paying attention to how our muscles are feeling. It also is a really nice back massage, in my opinion. Go ahead and work on your breathing here. Trying to rock maybe a little bit further to side. Still trying to be in control of the rock here. Our warm-up today is a lot of glute bridge activation. That's just because we have a lot of tabletop stuff today, so getting the glutes, getting the core, and the arms going is our primary goal of the warm-up. When you're ready, go ahead and get into that glute bridge position. So our ankles are going to be hip distance apart. Our heels are going to be a little bit close to our glutes, but make sure your shins are straight up and down. We want to tilt our pelvic floor up and in, making sure our lower back is fully flush to the mat. Go ahead and just bring the hips up, squeeze through the glutes, push through the heels, and lower back down. We're going to try to do this on a slow tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and lower. Really paying attention to that muscle activation. You're not getting anything sore yet. You just want to make sure that you're using the correct muscles here. That way we're not hurting them later for the rest of the workout. When you're ready, go ahead and just try to speed it up a little bit. That might be a 2 count, that might be a 1 count. As long as you're keeping that activation through the glutes, push through the heels, pelvic floor is up and in, core is engaged. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 1, 1. Do it with the beat of the music too. It's 132 count, so whatever is helpful for you. Couple more. Last one. Let's hold at the top and just pulse it out. Try to lift those hips a little bit higher into the air if you can. Press through those heels. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to transition to kind of a circle hip bridge. So we're tilting from side to side. Putting pressure, alternating from left glute to right glute. Should also feel like a nice stretch for the hips. Whatever pace you might need here, completely optional. Glutes are kind of burning now. It's okay. If you need a break, go ahead. Couple more seconds. Back into that neutral glute bridge position. Go ahead and just hold here. Finding that glute bridge. Option to add in a little heel lift, warming up the calves as well. Try not to let those hips drop. You still want to keep your pelvis shining to the ceiling. And keep that steady breath. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold those heels lifted, and we're just gonna lift in that glute bridge. Normal glute bridge here, lower and lift. If you had a leg day yesterday, I'm so sorry. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lift those hips high and just pulse it out. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering those hips all the way down. Go ahead and hug out those knees. Stretch out the glutes. Feel free to rock side to side here. A little bit more of a glute bridge series, and then we'll get right on into core. Dropping those legs back down. Find that neutral glute bridge position. We're going to start lifting our left leg up into the air, doing a single leg glute bridge, lower and lift. These are extremely difficult, so if you're struggling in any way, feel free to take any modification. You can drop the foot if that's helpful for you. We're just going to lower and lift. Keep that breath. If you need to slow it down, feel free. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold lifted and open that leg to the side. Open to the side and lift. Working those inner thighs along with that right glute. Make sure we're not sacrificing that glute activation. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop that leg down. Give your hips and your glutes a little bit of a break. And we'll get right on into the other side. Lifting that right leg all the way up, straightening it out. Single leg glute bridge. Keeping those deep breaths for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding high in that glute bridge and open that leg up to the outside. Still be sure to use your core here. Keep your balance. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop that leg. We'll finish off with some regular glute bridges. Keep that back fully flush to the mat, and we're just going to squeeze the glutes, lift, and lower at a comfortable pace that makes you feel good. Remembering that breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Last one, let's just lift the hips off of the mat and we'll hold here. Squeezing at the top. See if you can lift your hips a little bit higher into the air. Last little burner for our glute bridges here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those hips to the ground. Give your knees a nice little hug. We're going to transition into the core segment for today. You have the option to grab your weights if you would like. We have a few hundreds or boat poses that you could use for them. But if your core needs its own little break, you don't need the weights as well. We're going to stay lowered onto our back, keeping those knees bent, heels in line with the hips. Feel free to brace your neck or bring your fingertips to your temples. We're just going to do a few of those slow crunches. Feeling each row of the abdominals lift. I encourage you to find a tempo, same pace up as you go down. Really focusing on activating the core here. Couple more seconds. If you'd like to use weights, feel free to grab them and just extend your arms. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's extend our arms to either side of our legs and just hold here, pulsing at the top. Really lifting through the chest. Our core is what's moving us. We're not using any weight to pull us forward. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and hold in that halfway position. Chest is lifted. And we're just going to bring our arms into those hundreds. Taking those deep breaths in. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Option to lift those legs off the mat. Come into a full boat pose. You can alternate. Completely up to you. Just make sure you're staying balanced and that core is staying active. Deep breath. Go into that double tap. 10 more seconds. 2, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering all the way down. Go ahead and extend those legs out. We're just going to alternate pulling each knee in. Pull, pull, switch. Option to drop your head all the way onto the mat if it's starting to get a little bit heavy for your neck. Or you can try looking at your belly button. That might increase the amount of activation for your core here. Five more seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're going to try extending both legs and arms overhead and bring them back in. Extend out, bring back in. If you need a modification, you don't have to extend your arms at all. You can just bend your knees and extend out, or keep your knees bent and tap those toes to the mat. Completely up to you. Option to use those weights. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and extend those legs all the way up to the ceiling. And we're going to pull onto the back of either calf, switching it out, similar to those knee pulls, but now we're just grabbing the backs of our legs. Keeping them straight the whole time. Don't let your core give out on you. Should be a nice stretch for the backs of your legs as well. Just keep breathing. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slow and in control. One more deep breath in. Let's slowly transition into those bicycle crunches. Elbow to opposite knee. Slow and in control. Try to do this with a bit of a slow tempo here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got it. We're almost done with this movement. Just keep that core activated. 15 more seconds. You've got it. Slow it down if you need to. For 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and extend those legs all the way out. Laying down. Feel free to rock your hips side to side. Feel a nice stretch through the core. We're going to reach our arms overhead. Feel free to grab those weights if you'd like. We're just going to do a few roll-ups. Coming all the way up. Slow and in control. Inhale, reach. And exhale, fold back down. If these are difficult for you, you can always bend your knees and use your hands to walk all the way up your legs. Just make sure you're trying to pull some of that activation from your core as well, and not just pull all the way up with your hands. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Couple more. Last one. Go ahead and lift one last time, reaching all the way up through your fingertips. Really find that length. And we'll fold over those legs. Reaching for our feet, just trying to keep that back flat. You don't want to round out here. Really finding that stretch. The backs of our legs. Finding our breathing. We only have a little bit more for a core segment left. Then we're going to our ground series. Still finding that seated position. We're going to bend our knees in front of us. Option to grab those weights. Finding sort of a boat pose here. We're going to keep our toes pointed in front of us, lifting those legs up. We're just going to tap each toe to the mat. If you want to increase the intensity, you're going to bring that parallel with your shins and the mat. Ten more seconds. If you need a modification, feel free to grab onto the backs of those legs as well. Completely up to you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're just going to hold here in boat. If you want to increase the intensity, you can extend those legs all the way out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering all the way down, coming into a nice butterfly stretch. Opening up those hips, stretching out the lower back. We'll take another deep breath in. We're going to come into that ground series. Starting with the left leg. We're going to find a modified clamshell. So the heel of our foot is going to be stacked right in front of the ankle of our other foot. All we're doing is planting that right hand right beside us. We're going to do some hip lifts. So lifting up, reach overhead, and lower back down. Option to use those weights as well. Lifting up and lower, pulling through the core, but also lifting through the sides of our glutes, squeezing at the top, very similar to a clamshell. Just keep breathing. Option to take this all the way into a side plank, hip dip, lowering down and lift. This can get difficult for your shoulders, so if you need to lower down onto your elbow, feel free. And just holding at the top. Go ahead and stay here, activating through those obliques. Squeeze the core. Couple more seconds. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lowering all the way down. We're going to find a nice mermaid stretch here, reaching right arm overhead, lengthening through the right side body, keeping that chest lifted to the ceiling, and just reach. One more deep breath in. And exhale, moving over to the other side now, taking that modified clam pose. Remember, ankle behind the heel of opposite foot. If you used weights on the other side, I'd recommend using them on this side too. All we're doing is pressing through that foot, squeeze through the glutes, lift through the obliques, and rise all the way up. Slow and in control. Find a pace that works for you. If you'd like to increase the intensity, you can take this all the way to a plank. Challenging that balance. Or you have the option to lower all the way down onto that elbow, onto your forearm. And let's just hold at the top, holding in that plank or holding in that glute clam bridge. Couple more deep breaths. Exhale, lowering all the way down and finding that mermaid stretch. Reaching left arm overhead. Lengthening through the left side body, chest lifts to ceiling. Trying to open through our upper body. And coming all the way back with that neutral spine. This is where we get to use our lovely bands. If you do use the bands, I recommend trying to keep them below your knees. If you don't have a problem with the bands rolling up on you, I'm going to use the weaker band. If you don't have a problem with the bands rolling up on you, put them wherever you'd like. Honestly, I just know that I get a little frustrated when they start to roll up. We're going to start with a little bit of stretching. So find that tabletop position. We're going to push back, going into those extended cat-cows. Find that child's pose, lifting ourselves up, squeezing the core, and pressing those hips to the mat. Just keep that breath, find that length. If you have the red band instead, and you don't like the circle bands at all, I'll also be showing how to use those with a few of our movements. Just keep going. Let's come back into that neutral tabletop position. We're going to lower all the way down onto our forearms. Quick little demonstration of movement here. We're just going to lower, squeeze your scapulas together, and press back up. Lowering and press back up. It's like we're putting our shoulder blades together so they're touching. Lift and lower. Just want everybody to get familiar with this movement and how it feels to shallow between your shoulder blades, because we do not want that for the rest of the workout. We want to stay lifted through our chest, pushing through our back and staying lifted. Couple more deep breaths. Last one. We're going to end on that push up through our shoulders here, starting with our left leg. If you want to use the red band, go ahead and grab that. If you want to use the other band, you can do that as well. I'm just going to show how to use both. We're going to loop the handle behind our foot. Whatever tension you want with the band, go ahead and just grab with the red portion. Heading straight into those donkey kickbacks, we're going to press up and lower back down. Press up, squeeze to the glute, and lower back down. Completely up to you here. We want to try to keep our core neutral. You don't want to shift your hips side to side. And also, you have the option to not use the bands at all. So if any of this gets too tricky or too complicated at any point, you can go ahead and take them off. You'll still get a really good workout in. Another deep breath in. We're going to hold at the top and just pulse it out. Really squeeze through those glutes. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lower down. We're going to stack our ankles on top of each other. Trying to have a 45-degree angle with our knee. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. We're not sacrificing core at any point here. Make sure the core is still activated. If you want to take it down to your forearms, that is an option as well. For 3, 2, 1, holding at the top and pulse it out. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop that leg, push back, find that child's pose. Rotating your palms all the way up to face the ceiling. Just find a nice stretch through the back. Lengthening through our sides. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lifting all the way back up. We're going to lower down onto our right forearm. Go ahead and box out with your left arm here. We're going to send our right leg back and bring elbow or knee to elbow. Again, we're not sacrificing any of the core activation here. Try not to let your hips move. One more deep breath in. Last one, hold that leg lifted and just lower and lift. Straight kickbacks here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and kick that leg all the way back and pulse it out. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're bringing that leg to our side and we're lifting up. Lower and lift. If you lose the red band at any point, it's okay. Lower and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse it out. Last little bit, and then we have a break. You've got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that leg all the way down. We're going to push back. Coming into that kneeling position, we're just going to claw our shoulders with our palms and roll them out. Before we get back into it on the other side. Go ahead and reach all the way up. Side bends. And roll those wrists on the way back down. We're going to get started with those donkey kicks for the other side now. If you'd like to use the band again, totally optional. I'll show it both ways. Go ahead and find that tabletop position. Shoulders planted over the heels of our palms. Slight bend in those elbows. Hips stacked over knees. And just kick that leg back. Squeeze through the glutes. Hips stay stationary. Use that breath. Almost done. Squeeze through the glutes. Make sure you're still breathing. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're holding at the top. Pulse it out. Five more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Stack those ankles on top of each other into those angled hydrants, lifting up to the side and lower. Keep breathing. 3, 2, last one. Go ahead and lift up and just pulse it out. You've got it. 10 more seconds. Squeeze through the core. And lower that knee down. Push back. Find that child's pose. Palms to ceiling. Take a nice breather. Option to rock side to side if you need to stretch out the glutes a little bit. More deep breath in. We're coming all the way back up. We're boxing out, lowering down onto our left forearm. Box out with the right. Remember the tension in that red band if you are using it. Taking a few deep breaths here. We're just going to kick that leg straight back. Again, we're pushing through our shoulders. Don't let yourself fall. You're not going into that scapular retraction. Just keep breathing. Straight leg stays lifted and we pulse it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Bring that knee to your elbow and kick back. Knee to elbow and kick back. Deep breaths. 15 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Add in that side kick, and we're just lifting. Feeling the muscle change to the more side part of our glute. Keep that balance. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up to the side and just pulse. Only 10 seconds. I know these are hard. You've got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering all the way down. Go ahead, push back onto our knees. We're going to take our hands, claw them out, and just give your shoulders and your wrists a nice break. Apologize to your glutes now, and they might forgive you tomorrow. We still have some time left, so we're going to get into the little bit of an arm circuit that I have planned. I promise it's fun. I think it's fun. Anyways, go ahead and grab whatever weight you want. You don't necessarily need a weight. Either we're going to stay in that kneeling position. Go ahead and bring your arms out to the side. Let me turn. That will show. We're just going to bring them out to the side. Push out and bring them back in. Should be feeling this in your back as well. Straight into those side serving platters. Each movement of this arm circuit will build off of one another. We may be seeing it in future classes as well. But I really like it, so yay. Last one, let's keep those arms elevated. We're gonna hold and just bring it into a side bicep curl. Core still engaged. Almost done. After the arm circuit, we have a nice stretch. One last bicep curl, bring it back into those 90s. Tilt those palms facing forward. We're just gonna bring it into a nice cactus. Still squeezing the back. Shoulders are active. Almost done. Five more seconds. Last one, we'll bring it back out into that cactus pose. Press up, overhead press. Keep the back working. Option to change position if you want to press through the elbows in the front. Completely up to you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to press all the way up. Send those arms back. Hinge at the hips. Core is still engaged. We're going to come straight into a tricep kickback. Keeping it slow. Taking those breaths. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to keep those arms in front of us, straight into a back fly. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. The lower back shouldn't hurt here. You should be activating through your core. Pelvic floor tilted up and in. Squeeze your glutes. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying in that hinged position. Option to drop those weights to the side. Walk your hands forward. Tilt your hips a little bit in front of you. We're going to rotate our fingertips inward, coming straight into a push-up position. Almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in that lowered position. Just pulse it out. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pressing all the way back into that kneeling position. We've made it to stretch, guys. We're going to start by taking that right hand. We're going to loop it behind us. Go ahead and intertwine it with your left. Set it down on that hip. We're just going to gently bring our chin or our ear to our left shoulder. Feeling a nice stretch through the neck, a little bit of a side stretch as well. Relaxing through the shoulders. Feel free to rock your neck forward and backward just so you find that stretch, find that point of tension. Hold it there until you feel that muscle release. Another deep breath in. Let's come back to center. Same thing for the other side. Bring our left arm to our hip. Intertwine with that right hand. Gently lowering our ear to our right shoulder. Feel that stretch for the left side now. Trying to keep that length through our spine. Let's come back to center. We're going to take that first arm, go ahead and wrap it in front of our chest, and just pull. Pulling that shoulder away from your ear this time. Switching to the other side. Slowing down the breathing. You can try that box breathing here for a count of 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Dropping that arm back down. We're going to come into that cross-legged position. Go ahead and reach. Right arm overhead. Left hand presses into the mat, slowly lowering down onto that forearm as you adjust to this stretch. Chest is going to be lifted to the ceiling. We're looking through length from the fingertips. Gently dropping the chest to the mat. Windmilling to the other side. Go ahead and reach over your head. Length through fingertips. Left hand over top. Pressing through right forearm. Chest is lifted to the ceiling. And we're gently going to drop the chest down to the mat. Bring all the way back up to that seated position, gently lowering down onto our back. We'll go ahead and kick that right leg up and over top. Outside of our ankle is going to press into the top of our left knee. Feel free to hold here if this stretch feels good enough for you, or you can grab onto that left leg and just rock side to side. Sending our arms to either side of our body. Go ahead and just let your hips drop to the left. Coming back up to center, unhooking that right leg from our left, lifting the left and hooking it over our right. Any modification that feels comfortable for you, or just try to rock side to side, feeling that stretch through our hips. Sending our arms to either side of our body, gently letting the hips drop to the right. Twisting through the spine, shoulders stay planted on the floor. Let's come back to center, unhook that left leg from our right. Take a few final breaths, hug those knees. It's going to bring us to the end of today's class. Feel free to stay and stretch if you need a little bit more stretching time here, but we're running out of time. Other than that, hope you enjoyed today's class. See you all again on Thursday. If you have any questions or recommendations, feel free to let me know as well. I am open to anything.